the Space Marine DLC for Battlefleet Gothic Armada has been released. It's multiplayer and skirmish. There's no story DLC, even though in the launch trailer, so to speak, it was basically focused on story and not showing any actual gameplay in that. It's like a tease. Hey, you know, we might just make a story focused on the Space Marine fleets, but we're not gonna do that. Here's a multiplayer DLC in a game that has a dead multiplayer community. Oh, you can also play it in skirmish. Skirmish is horrible because if you're playing on the highest difficulty, for instance, the only one that can offer any real challenge, the AI cheats and has many more points than you, so you're fighting constantly at a disadvantage. Not only does it have more ships, it has higher level ships, it has more upgrades, it has favor on their ships, so they have all the advantages in the fucking world in skirmish against you. And they're not actually bad in terms of the way they handle things. I mean, they do a lot of stupid stuff. They're not the best in the world, and there are certainly some things that you can exploit, but AI isn't retarded. That's my point. They do mistakes. There are things you can exploit, absolutely. There are certain strategies they do follow and things you can use to your advantage. So how are the Space Marines? Well, you can play various chapters: Blood Angels, Dark Angels, Space Wolves, Ultramarines, Imperial Fists, but this just is a cosmetic change. It changes nothing in terms of actual gameplay. So that's just, well, I guess it's nice to be able to color your fleet differently, even though we were supposed to get the ability to color our fleet on our own, but at least I believe they said that at one point. But still, it's nice to have the the option to play other chapters than just the Ultramarines, which is the default chapter in Warhammer 40k. Now, on the subject of the Space Marine fleet, what do they have going for them? Well, their weaponry is crap, and although they do have ordnance launch bays on a lot of their ships, to make up for their bad weaponry, the problem with that is they only have 100 Hawk gunships. You can get you can get an improved version of that, which will do damage. Bombers, basically, you can get bombers through an upgrade. You can get the fighter squadrons to defend your ships through an upgrade, and it only spawns one fighter squadron. But overall, your ordnance launch bays, your macro batteries are pretty terrible. In fact, they nerfed the macro batteries in their damage, though they did improve them in terms of their fire rate on your smaller ships. But that's not what you have going for you. You do have bombardment cannons, which are capable of doing a lot of damage and ignoring armor, so they're good, but they're pretty slow to fire, and they're pretty inaccurate as well. So what do you have going for you, for yourself as the Space Marine fleet? Well, your fleet is heavily armored, arguably the most heavily armored fleet in the game. You don't have the most HP like the orcs do, nor do you have the firepower of the orcs, but you have the same speed as Imperial Navy ships, and you have more maneuverability than Imperial Navy ships. And you have great assault action, boarding actions, lightning strikes. You can get upgrades to improve that. You can get favors to improve that. So what is the playstyle of the Space Marine fleet? Well, with great maneuverability, good speed, superb armor on all sides, not just front, but all sides, what do you think is? Right, ramming. You will be ramming down your enemy's throat. You're not as good at ramming as the Imperial Navy is. You won't do the same amount of damage, nor will you take the small damage that the Imperial Navy does if you ram from the front. You don't have the armored prow, but given that you're armored on all sides and you have pretty maneuverable ships, you can go in and fight a brawl against the enemy. Now, people are saying, oh, this is not how they should play. The Space Marines are not going to compete with Chaos at long range. They simply can't compete with Chaos at long range because Chaos has better bombers, they have fighters, they have assault boats. You're not going to compete with any faction in terms of long range. You're not going to compete with any faction in terms of ship firepower, but where you can compete is getting in there, ramming the fuck out of your enemy, and destroying them for that. Now, of course, you're gonna take a lot of casualties because of this, but so will the enemy. It is the best option. I've won a lot of skirmishes for this. I'm not playing in multiplayer because the multiplayer community is pretty dead. The reason it's dead is because they made decisions, and I made a video on this in the beta, and I laid out the reasons. The leveling system is bad, the way they've handled upgrades is bad, they're too expensive, it's ridiculous, and they haven't fixed any of those issues. And with the addition of the Eldar, the addition of the Space Marines, they've made things worse. Eldar are bullshit at the moment in the game. They're very fast, and it's very difficult to control them, so you're using tactical cogitators. Here's an idea: how about slowing the pace of the game down, because it's getting fucking ridiculous. And the Space Marines are very maneuverable. Maybe, you know, not quite as maneuverable as the Bloody Eldar, but still very damn maneuverable themselves. And that's the problem. Because it's like handling the Eldar, except unlike the Eldar, which can be easily torn to shreds in a melee, you actually have some survivability, and you can tear through the Eldar with ease. Now, the AI does handle the Eldar somewhat well, and given all the advantages it has, it's actually a pain in the ass to fight Eldar in skirmish. But against factions like Chaos, Imperial Navy, or Orcs, facing Orcs as the Space Marines is a joke, because you can ram the fuck out of those Orcs, and you have the armor to survive a close range engagement against the Orcs, and you have resistance to assault actions, which is an advantage that the Orcs have in terms of assault actions. So it's a pretty badly designed faction. My point is, the whole thing we're ramming, it's not a good way. It's like, where's the strategy? I mean, they've nerfed skills. They've nerfed Plasma Bomb, for instance. They've nerfed skills, so it's less of a game about who has the skills, who uses them the best, and it's actually more about maneuverability and all that. But the game is too fast. The way the factions are designed is bullshit, and now they add a new faction which has some of the worst aspects of the gameplay. It's like, your advantage is to ram the opponent and get in close and use assault actions, boarding actions in order to win. That's what you do. You have the speed for it, you have the engines for it, you have the maneuverability to get in close. I mean, sure, Chaos is going to be faster than you are, but Chaos doesn't have the maneuverability that you have. The only faction that's more maneuverable are the Eldar, but they have paper ships. So it's badly designed, and I don't think the DLC on itself is worth it. And for what? I mean, for what at the end of the day? I mean, sure, the ships look cool. I'll give them that much, though I think they should improve the texture quality in the game. But for what? Skirmish, which is badly designed, badly balanced? Or multiplayer, which is dead at the moment? What's the purpose of this DLC? What are we supposed to do with it? I mean, yeah, well, those of us who bought it before it came out, who bought the game, that is, before it came out, we got it for free. But why would people buy it? I mean, they have nothing interesting to do with this DLC. Besides terrible skirmish mode, or the mess that multiplayer is right now with the very few people that are still playing it. It's simply not worth it, and it's badly designed. And very badly balanced. And it seems the developers don't actually give a fuck to actually fix the problems, the underlying issues of multiplayer. They said they would engage with the community a lot more. They didn't. They've actually been pretty quiet for a while, and I think part of that is due to the fact that the multiplayer is basically dead. Anyway, Costin here, signing out.